Hello again, it's Dr. Andy Brigham with Functional Medicine Minute. I want to talk to you today about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's a common thing we see, obviously, in our clinic, and it's unfortunately an extremely common problem that we're seeing all over the United States today, and probably more than other countries. One of the problems is that standard medicine doesn't really focus on the root cause of these problems. A functional approach to this problem is definitely the best way to go, especially if you have a child who's having problems in school or having problems concentrating. One of the things we see quite a bit when patients come into our clinic, whether they're an adult or a child, is they're on several different medications. And a lot of these medications for attention deficit disorder and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder tend to speed up the person. They tend to cause irritability, increased heart rate, hallucinations, growth retardation in kids, and even seizures. We've even seen some kids who have some of the patch form of the medications, which causes severe skin sensitivities, even burn type symptoms. And so you see a lot of problems with these medications. They tend to help, but most of the time the doctor's not addressing the root cause while you're treating these symptoms. And as I usually tell patients, there's nothing wrong with using these medications short term. It should only be a short term approach. And so one of the things we see from a functional approach to treating ADHD, I look at 5 main things. And of course, it's a very complex disorder. But if you really want to narrow it down to 5 things, this is typically what we see. The first one is food sensitivities. One thing you want to look at when your child or yourself, when you typically eat every day, is you want to really focus on your diet. Most of our foods today are highly processed, a lot of additives and preservatives, and a lot of GMO type products. So one thing you'll see is multiple sensitivities of foods. And it's not an allergy, but actually a sensitivity. And so these can cause problems with concentration, fatigue, and joint pain, muscle pain, all kinds of problems. So it's something to watch. Another thing is vitamin and mineral deficiencies. Most of our food today is very high in calories, highly processed, and very low in nutrients. And so we basically take in tons of calories, but not very many vitamins and minerals. Even organic foods, they're really only as good as the soil they're grown in. So that's something that we want to really watch. And treating those problems typically help with ADHD. Another thing is intestinal permeability. I know that's kind of a big word, but intestinal permeability basically means your small intestines, where most of your nutrients are absorbed, are highly permeable. So you see a lot of these pores being too open, so stuff slips back into your bloodstream that shouldn't. And then it can cause all kinds of inflammatory reactions throughout your body. So that can cause problems with concentration. And you also lose a lot of the building blocks for the neurotransmitters in your brain that help with focus. So that's something to watch. Another one is yeast overgrowth. We see a lot of children and a lot of adults who are typically treated with antibiotics for every little thing. You go stub your toe or have an eyelash fall out the wrong way, you get antibiotics for 6 to 7 days. And we see it all the time. It's kind of ha-ha funny, but unfortunately it's way too common. So what that causes over time is the possibility of yeast overgrowth in your intestines and even on your skin or in your sinuses. So that in turn can cause problems with concentration, problems with intestinal permeability, as we just talked about, and problems with hyperactivity. And then one of the last things I want to talk about is toxicity. The big ones we see are lead and mercury toxicity. In children, one thing you want to really look for is lead toxicity. And that can be tested, and it's a pretty easy test to do. And a lot of times that can be treated pretty easily too. So one of the things we want to focus on with this type of approach is really finding the triggers for this problem. It's okay to treat the symptoms, but you want to be treating the root cause of the process. And so what we'll talk about in our next video will be certain supplements you can use that might be a little safer and easier on the body to treat the symptoms while you're looking for the cause. So anyway, feel free to comment at the bottom of our page, and we will be back with you soon. Thanks.